Hey, welcome to this episode of the Catalyst Podcast, where we talk about how you can preserve your vital energy, navigating those overwhelming portal messages. Before I launch right in, I want to say this disclaimer. This episode is going to be helping you, whether you are a patient or a practitioner, because both sides of the equation are having trouble with portal messaging. And there's different reasons, but both are valid. So I'd like to start with some statistics. 86 minutes every night are spent in pajama time. What we call pajama time is the practitioners late at night under the glow of their laptop are trying to catch up with portal messaging or anything in the EMR because it is a system that's broken. We'll be honest. While it was initially intended to streamline our efforts, it has now spider-webbed into so many clicks and notifications that practitioners are drowning. And it is not going to be fixed overnight. So understanding this, that this burden is really causing fatigue and burnout in our practitioners because they can never reach the end. There isn't an end. You can never have inbox zero when it comes to portal messages. And I can say this as a fact, even though I'm not a primary care physician anymore, I mentor primary care physicians. I have a spouse that is a primary care physician, and I can attest that no matter how diligently he tackles that inbox every single evening, it's never done. So this episode is both to educate patients on how you can be more of a savvy patient and understand how to deliver better messages while understanding the system at play. And then this episode concludes with actionable tips as a practitioner to protect your energy and boundaries. So let's start with the patient. We've understood that the system is broken, that your physician or practitioner is burning out, and there you go, opening the portal, right? I know you don't want to bother them. Most patients are like, I don't want to bother my practitioner. So if you want to be one of those star patients that really gets to the point, we would love that. And what that means is think before you open that portal message, what have you done already to answer your question? And that could mean like a Google search or maybe things that you've tried from the last treatment plan that your physician suggested. You can list those steps. I've tried here, I've done this, and this is the symptom that's still bothering me. Then you ask one question. Should I schedule, any of the fill in the blank? Because portal messages are really designed for care implementation, clarification, right? Organizing what you need done, not really to treat or diagnose or brainstorm other options. It's really intended to be a quick volley of information. Like, do I need to come in again? When did the doctor think I should increase that dose, right? Those are the types of things that are so great and easy to answer. Unfortunately, many hospital and clinic systems handicap our providers because they don't allow anybody but the provider to answer the question. And that can be hard because the provider is the generator of income for that hospital or clinic. This is how our healthcare system is built. And it's not going to change overnight. What that means is the more that your practitioner is inside a portal message, the less time they can see a patient face to face and the less they can bill insurance. So don't be surprised if your practitioner starts billing for these. I advocate for that in a system because that's the only way to recoup some of the value that we're providing. And understand that your practitioner wants to help you. Them having a delay in that message is really not their fault. They are inundated with so many messages. So you may even type in your portal message that you're open to talking with other staff, happy to talk to the nurse or the medical assistant or the care coordinator to get your questions answered. As a patient, it's really helpful if you just bullet point your condition, your facts, keep your sentences super short. Usually that portal message is read first by some kind of triage staff. It might be an RN, it might be a medical assistant, depending on your system. So the quicker you can make that portal message read, the easier it can be answered. And always approaching this with kindness. I know everything feels urgent, but that is the problem of the portal message, is we have now cultivated a culture of anxious patients. And I'm saying this very truthfully. I'm a patient in a system. Everybody is. And I know how easy it can be to open up that laptop and just fire off a quick question. It might feel quick to you, but when you're on the other end and you've got 101 messages, that quick question is not quick. it is at the bottom of the list, right? So I'm going to segue into the practitioner area here. As a practitioner, you open up your EMR and there it is, 101 messages, and you feel overwhelmed. But there is a way through this mess that can help you reclaim some of that energy. So I want to share some tips that I did inside one of my mentoring sessions with my Catalyst mentee. We had this beautiful discussion about portal messaging and how to reclaim some of those boundaries, because it can slip even in the most astute practitioner who is very boundary aware. Right? In my Catalyst studio, we uphold the idea that you are redesigning healthcare with more creativity and less burnout. You are designing your own self-expressive way to deliver medicine. And so it's often that we need to revisit our boundaries because things shift in our community and in our patient needs. And sometimes old habits surface, like people pleasing or perfectionism or high achieving, like especially if we own our own business. We worry that if we don't appease and answer right away, it might reflect badly on us. But see, all of us, and I'm including myself, we are now trained in this climate, in this era, to need instant gratification. We're all those petulant toddlers at the checkout counter grabbing a Snickers bar, asking our mom or dad to buy candy because we want things now. We want things fast. Computers have only cultivated this even more strongly. So I do blame just our whole society at encouraging the use of a portal message to get your medical care. Why not? We have quick minute clinics popping up on every corner. We have urgent cares offered by Amazon. I mean, we are here to cultivate fast. When you're a functional or holistic integrative practitioner, we don't do fast medicine. We do slow medicine. We do sustainable. We do longevity and optimization of your current physiology. We are in the long game. So now more than ever, if you're a practitioner in that system, you should not be having a knee-jerk reaction to portal messages because you are building a lifetime of wellness for your patient and client. So I'm going to review my notes here and share with you some actionable ways that you can redesign your boundaries around the portal message and save yourself some burnout. The first thing that you can do is frame the expectations. Remember, we talk about boundaries are FAT, F-A-T. Frame the expectations, anticipate the breach, and then thank them for upholding your boundary. So one way to start reining in the portal messaging is just to frame the expectation. So don't say unlimited portal messaging. Be wary of promising that because you're just encouraging patients to fire off messages all the time. And really, portal messaging is a security blanket. That's really most of what it is. We're worried. We're worried about a symptom. We're worried about something. We had another question pop up. And so when we fire off that portal message as a patient and we get an immediate response within a few hours, it only encourages us to do that again next time. Especially if you're servicing patients inside a membership model, we have this unspoken feeling that we need to be at the beck and call, that we somehow strip off our humanity and we're available 24/7. And that does not have to be the case. So in the outset, on your website, in your terms and conditions, be wary. Don't use terms like unlimited portal messaging. Give it a number. For example, if you have like a high tier in your membership, you can say that they get priority with their portal messaging, right? If they're in a lower tier, maybe they're capped at 2 per month because that comes with it different availability. And you can start to kind of measure how priority these members can feel, how VIP, because you can still be there for support when you're giving them, allowing them 2 portal messages a month, and you can encourage them to show up in your group. See, this is why membership is amazing when it comes to a functional and integrative process, because most of us know that the care does not happen inside the exam room. Patients get better outside the exam room. What we do is we lay the roadmap and then we let them go into the world, hoping that they're going to follow the recommendations and navigate through that roadmap. But if you're not providing support, it's very difficult for any human to follow along a roadmap to success. That's why group visits are entirely successful because you're giving them a supportive ecosystem. You can fire off a message reply in the portal message when they have a question oh, I see you've already gone through your allotted 2 messages a month, but I'm here every week at this day at this time. I'd love for you to bring that question into our group visits. It's an easy way to show that you're still there, you're supporting them, that you aren't abandoning them, that you want them to feel healthy and get better. And you realize that functional and integrative medicine is tricky. So you've already built that into your ecosystem. And portal messaging is not where that's going to happen. In addition to staying away from terms like unlimited portal messaging, you can highlight why your membership practice is different and how this is amazing. You can say things like, unlike other clinics or other systems, you aren't communicating with several layers of staff. You get me directly. And that means that I need to uphold my energy and well-being. So I prefer that you bring your questions to our group visit. Do you see how you're cultivating that culture of empowerment? That's what happens when patients need success and they're needing to feel better and they're really striving to get health inside a integrative or functional clinic. They need to feel empowered. That's what you need to do, is gift them empowerment. You're there as their guide. You're there as their teacher, but you're not there to cure them. They're the ones curing themselves. So you need to provide the container and the guidelines of how they can access your wisdom. It's not in portal messages. Another way to help cultivate and rein in that overwhelm, framing that expectation of portal messaging, is to refurbish your auto-reply. So many EMR systems will allow an auto-reply. So when somebody puts a portal message in, they get an automatic reply. So you may want to switch yours up every so often, right? After reading it once or twice, most patients will ignore the message. But if you rotate it, say something like, due to the high volume of messaging, if you have a question, your best chance of getting an answer is to coming into our group visit on this day at this time, right? Or, while you're waiting, here's a small checklist that can help patients, right? If you're under an elimination diet, here's my link to my snack swaps. Or, if you have a system or method that you tend to walk your patients through, you can give them a link. Here's a link to our online community to post your question on Facebook or Mighty Networks or whatever you do, right? And then you can also set that expectation, right? If you'd like more comprehensive care and more attention, we have openings in our elite top tier membership. Book a call here, right? You can continue nurturing and explaining how you do what you do and why your patients get success when they get that consistent one-on-one attention. What is your secret superpower energy source? I have two: a morning cup of coffee and the energy I get from connecting with practitioners just like you. Since 2019, I've had the deep honor of working with practitioners all across the world and help them express their own unique healing style to transform patient lives without burnout. And I've put a lot of free resources in an online hub just for you. Head to drlarasalyer.com/catalyst and download some of my freebies like the Catalyst Calendar Method, which will teach you how to put more flow in your week, or the Functional Micropractice Checklist so you can compare your journey to where you may want to go. And my favorite, the Catalyst Archetype Quiz. It will match you to one of 4 personas, and you'll learn what is your best creative expression and also where are you most likely to drop into burnout. Knowledge is power, and awareness is curative. But most of all, connect with me. Give me that superpower energy source, and we can grab coffee at the same time. I leave spots in my calendar open, a few every week, just for you. And if you use the coupon podcast, you can waive the fee for these brainstorming sessions. So I'd like to conclude with 7 things that I think you should have inside your rules of engagement, your portal message guidelines of your membership practice. So if you're a practitioner, listen up. If you're a patient, this is how that we can stay vital. This is how we prevent burnout. When we can give you clear guidelines of portal messaging, we can show up even better in a face-to-face conversation because you feel supported and we also feel that we can keep our energy vital. So first, talk about the monthly message limit, right? Is there a difference between the top tier of your membership or the lower tier? And you may want to put numerical values to this. The top tier might be allowed 10 messages a month, the lowest tier 2. And this ensures that their concerns are addressed efficiently while maintaining the quality of care. That's your explanation. The next thing I would have in your terms and conditions is explanation on the weekly group visits, right? Saying that like we highly recommend bringing your questions to our weekly group visits. These sessions are a great opportunity to receive immediate feedback and engage in valuable discussions with our care team. That explains why you're doing what you're doing. Third, talk about the after hours, right? To ensure the well-being of our practitioners, we don't respond to portal messages after hours or weekends. We appreciate your understanding and we encourage you to use the portal for non-urgent matters. This is very crucial. You are not an emergency room. You are not in urgent care. So they can seek care elsewhere and you are allowed to be human and answer those portal messages on your own time. Then you might even tell them when that will be, right? You could have a tier-based response time. Maybe the VIP members, they get a response in 24 hours. Maybe the lowest tier, they might be checked every Tuesday or Friday at 2 p.m. That's the kind of support they get, right? And then you can talk about that urgency in triage. That should be something important by saying, we reserve the right to triage that message according to medical need. So somebody who's asking just what is your favorite brand of gluten-free bread might not get that question answered because that could come into a group session because other people might have more important medical concerns that they are addressing. So just saying that is really helpful to allow you to sleep at night. Because remember, these kind of guidelines are really about you as the practitioner. We want you to sleep at night. Talk about the group visit, right? Make that a priority, saying for that quickest response, please come to our group visits. That's where we can give you that one-to-one time. And it's one-to-many, but it's really one-to-one when you're human to human eyeball and you're looking at each other, even on a Zoom room. You can really take in the body language, the nuance of the question. You can understand really what that underlying fear is. Are they worried that their condition's getting worse? Are they concerned that they misunderstood something? And you can answer things so quickly in that kind of container rather than trying to understand text because messaging can be misinterpreted over and over. And lastly, the emergency situations. Make sure you have something in your group visit, in your portal message disclaimers about emergency situations so that they understand this is not the time to send a portal message when you have chest pain. Most clinic systems and hospitals have that in place. So without, further discussion, you can get the idea that portal messaging can be a huge burden, but it can also be a great opportunity to invite people into your ecosystem and your culture of honoring self-care, of empowering patients to be discerning on what needs assistance, to encourage them to seek the community that will lift them up, and to show them how you can do that as the facilitator, as the guide, as the leader, and the expert in functional medicine. You're there to support them on your own terms because we need more of you. We need you as catalysts that are transforming the medicine around the world, helping people get better, healthier, faster, and with more sustainability. And in closing, I would like to say as catalysts, we give ourselves permission to prioritize our creativity and self-expression and curiosity. And I hope that you give yourself permission to do the same.